Hey there, I'm sitting here finishing the Goldfinch. It's our first of the snowpocalypse in Texas of 2026. So pardon the disheveled look, but I've been working on this book since October, I believe. No, August. A friend of mine finished it and said that there were some lines towards the end that were truly enlightening and life-changing for her. This is a dear friend whose opinion I respect greatly, and she loaned me the book and told me I needed to read it. So it's a bit of a slog. It's about 750 pages. I know there's mixed reviews on this book. Some people love it, some people hate it. I absolutely have loved every page of it. I love the details, I love the characterization, I love the character development. And I would say one of the reasons I love it is I relate so well to the protagonist. This is not a spoiler because it happens in the very first chapter, but a protagonist whose mother dies when he's at a very young age, and then the protagonist ends up becoming a latchkey kid, and where our paths differ. I had a very loving, caring, supporting father, and his dad not so much, but I won't spoil it. While I read this book, it reminds me of one of my other favorite books, The Other Wes Moore, by Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland. Before he was in politics, he wrote a memoir that was fascinating about he and another man who had the same name and had similar experiences in early life and then chose different paths. And I feel like the protagonist in The Goldfinch and I have some similarities, and then our paths deviate because we make different choices. I just want to read an excerpt here from the book. When I opened my eyes, it was morning. All the lamps in the room were still blazing, and I was under the cover with no memory of how I'd gotten under them. Everything was still bathed and saturated with her presence. Higher, wider, deeper than life. A shift in the optics that had produced a rainbow edge. And I remember thinking that this must be how people felt after visions of saints. Not that my mother was a saint, only that her appearance had been as distant and startling, as distinct and startling as a flame leaping up in a dark room. Still half sleeping, I drifted in the bedclothes, buoyed by the sweetness of the dream washing quietly about me. Even the ambient morning sounds in the hallway had taken on the atmosphere and color of her presence. For if I listened hard, it was half-dreaming state. It seemed that I could hear the specific light, cheerful sound of her footsteps mixed up with the clink of the room-serving trays up and down the hall, and the rattle of elevator cables, the opening and closing of elevator doors. A very urban sound, a sound I associated with Sutton Place and her. Then, suddenly bursting into the last wisps of bioluminescence still trailing from the dream, the bells of the nearby church broke out in such violent clangor that I bolted upright in a panic, fumbling for my glasses. I had forgotten what day it was. Christmas. Unsteadily, I got up and went to the window. Bells. Bells. The streets were white and deserted. Frost glittered on tiled rooftops. Outside, on the Harrogate, snow danced and flew. A flock of blackbirds was cawing and swooping over the canal. The sky was hectic with them, great sideways sweeps and undulations of a single intelligent body, eddying to and fro, and their movements seemed to pass into me on almost a cellular level. White sky and whirling snow, and the fierce gusting wind of poets. First rule of restorations: never do what you can't undo. The writing is so beautiful. While the story may be dark and hard to sit with at times, the descriptions are gorgeous, and the character development is poignant and believable, though tragic. Also reminds me of not to judge somebody until you've walked 2 days in their moccasins. Not the exact quote, but I think a lot of people sit in privilege and don't understand what life is like whenever your experiences or your family don't fit into the norms of what we consider typical American society.